Captain Mira Hale had made precisely 3 mistakes in her 15 years of interstellar diplomatic service. The first involved accidentally insulting a Valerian ambassador by complimenting their molting pattern. The second was trusting the navigation AI during a solar flare. The third, and by far the most expensive, was leaving her tablet unlocked in the rec room of the Harmony's Dawn while Tovik and his littermates were aboard. The Krishna Cubs had been part of a cultural exchange program, a goodwill gesture between humanity and the feline-like species whose empire spanned 12 star systems. Their parents, high-ranking officials in the Krishna collective, had assured Mira that the Cubs were perfectly behaved and fascinated by human culture. What they'd failed to mention was that Krishna Cubs possessed the curiosity of Earth cats, the intelligence of dolphins, and the impulse control of unsupervised toddlers with credit cards. Myra discovered her mistake when Station Master Yevgeny Volkov's face appeared on her cabin screen at 0300 hours, his expression hovering somewhere between apoplexy and hysterical laughter. "Captain Hale," he said, his Russian accent thickening with barely suppressed emotion, "I need you to explain why 50 boxes 50 of assorted human confections are currently being loaded onto your ship. The manifest lists chocolate bars, gummy candies, sour strips, cookies, something called Flamin' Hot Cheetos," and he squinted at his datapad. "Artisanal beef jerky, teriyaki blast flavor." Myra's blood ran cold. 50 boxes? Totaling 17,000 credits. Volkov's eye twitched. Charged to the Diplomatic Corps' emergency supply account. She was out of her cabin and sprinting toward the cargo bay in seconds, her bare feet slapping against the metal deck plating. The ship's AI, sensing her urgency, helpfully illuminated her path and announced over the intercom, "Cargo delivery in progress. Estimated completion, 4 minutes." When she burst into the cargo bay, the scene before her was somehow worse than she'd imagined. Mountains of colorful boxes were being mechanically stacked by loading drones, each emblazoned with cheerful Earth Corporation logos. Standing proudly before this monument to poor decision-making were 5 Krishna Cubs, their fur patterns rippling with the satisfied bioluminescence that indicated extreme pleasure. Tovik stood at the center, his silver-striped tail swishing with unmistakable pride. At barely 3 feet tall, with oversized ears and eyes that had evolved to express maximum innocence, he looked like something from a children's cartoon. He also looked completely unrepentant. "Mira friend," he chirped in heavily accented standard. "We order human treats for cultural learning." "Tovik." Myra forced herself to breathe. "Where did you get my authorization codes?" The Cub's ears flattened slightly, the Krishna equivalent of a sheepish shrug. Tablet was open. "We watched you type many times. Pattern easy to remember." He traced a shape in the air with one clawed finger. Up, circle, down, down, triangle. Of course, the Krishna had eidetic memory for spatial patterns. She'd been inputting her security gesture right in front of them for 3 weeks. "And you thought ordering 17,000 credits worth of candy was what helpful? You say humans need treats for morale?" Another cub piped up, her purple-tinted fur bristling with enthusiasm. "You say treats make humans happy when sad or stressed." Myra pinched the bridge of her nose. She had said that during a cultural lecture on human psychology. She'd been explaining comfort food while the Cubs watched with fascinated intensity, their pupils dilating and contracting in that unsettling way they did when processing new information. "We calculate optimal amounts," Tovik added, pulling up her tablet and displaying a complex spreadsheet. "Ship has 32 crew. 70-day journey to Krishna Prime. Each human needs 2.4 treat servings per day for maximum morale. We add 15% safety margin. Math very good." The spreadsheet was horrifyingly correct. The Cubs hadn't just randomly ordered candy. They'd performed a detailed statistical analysis of crew dietary preferences based on overheard conversations, medical records they'd somehow accessed, and what appeared to be a survey they'd conducted without anyone noticing. "You even accounted for dietary restrictions," Myra said faintly, scrolling through columns labeled allergies, religious requirements, and texture aversions. "Of course." Tovik's chest puffed out. "We are Krishna. We do not give gifts that harm." Behind her, Mira heard the cargo bay doors seal with a definitive hiss. 17,000 credits worth of junk food was now officially part of their manifest. She turned to find her first officer, Commander Zhang, standing in the doorway with a cup of coffee and an expression of deep, profound resignation. "Don't say it," Myra warned. "I didn't say anything. You were thinking it very loudly." Zhang took a slow sip of coffee. "Station Master Volkov is asking whether you want to return the shipment. There's a 20% restocking fee." Myra looked at the towers of candy. At the cubs, who were now vibrating with anxious anticipation, their bioluminescent patterns flickering between hopeful green and worried orange. At Tovik, whose ears had flattened completely against his skull as he realized his grand gesture might not be appreciated. The thing about Krishna cubs, the thing their parents definitely had mentioned during the initial briefing, was that they bonded intensely and quickly. Rejection of a gift, especially one given with genuine care, could cause psychological distress that lasted years. And damn it all, they had been thoughtful. Mathematically, meticulously thoughtful. "We keep it," Myra said. Tovik's ears shot up. "Keep, we did good?" "You did ... something." Myra crouched down to his level. "But Tovik, you can't use other people's accounts without permission. That's called theft, even if your intentions are good." His ears drooped again. "We are sorry. We wanted to help. You work very hard. You miss Earth food. We hear you tell Jiang you would kill for decent chocolate. It's an expression, buddy. I wasn't planning actual murder." "Oh," Tovik considered this. "Human idioms are confusing. Tell me about it," Jiang muttered. Over the following weeks, as the Harmony's Dawn made its way toward Krishna Prime, the crew discovered that the Cubs' mathematical analysis had been disturbingly accurate. Morale did improve. Engineers traded chocolate bars for extra maintenance shifts. The medical team found that gummy vitamins and candy bribes made crew checkups significantly easier. Someone started a ship-wide teriyaki jerky black market that Mira pretended not to notice. Tovik, banned from using any electronic devices unsupervised, threw himself into learning human cooking instead. He could barely reach the galley counters, even standing on a step stool, but his determination was absolute. His first attempt at brownies achieved a texture previously unknown to material science. His second attempt was merely inedible. By his fifth try, even the ship's notoriously critical head chef admitted they were acceptable. When they finally reached Krishna Prime, Tovik's parents came aboard for the formal handover ceremony. His mother, Ambassador Shavik, took one look at the remaining candy boxes in storage and then at her son, covered in flour and chocolate smears, proudly holding a tray of slightly lopsided cookies. "I see," she said, her tone carefully neutral, "that Tovik has been educating himself thoroughly in human culture. He's been very helpful," Myra said diplomatically, accepting a cookie that turned out to be surprisingly good. "Though we did have a discussion about proper authorization protocols." Shavik's whiskers twitched in the Krishna equivalent of a knowing smile. "How much did he spend?" 17,000 credits. Ah, less than his uncle's incident with the Earth livestock market then. That's progress. As the Cubs disembarked, Tovik turned back at the airlock, his small face serious. "Myra friend, next cultural exchange, I practice restraint. I appreciate that, Tovik. But," he added, his tail swishing with barely contained excitement, "if you ever need emergency Earth treats again, I know all the best suppliers now." Myra watched the Cubs bounce down the gangway toward their parents, already chattering about their adventures. Jiang appeared beside her, holding up her tablet now equipped with a new biometric lock that required retinal scan, fingerprint, and a password Myra had memorized rather than programmed. 50 boxes of candy, Jiang said thoughtfully. Could have been worse. They could have ordered weapons or livestock. Or stop helping. But as Mira returned to her ready room, she found herself smiling. The Krishna Cubs had cost her 17,000 credits, given her 3 gray hairs, and thoroughly demonstrated why children of any species shouldn't have access to expense accounts. They'd also reminded her why she loved this job. Cultural exchange wasn't just about formal protocols and careful diplomacy. Sometimes it was about Cubs with good intentions and terrible impulse control, about the universal language of thoughtful gifts, and about the ways different species found to care for each other. Though she was definitely encrypting her tablet from now on. In the galley, someone had posted a sign. "Days since diplomatic incident. 0. Below it. In smaller letters, but at least we got cookies. Myra left it up.